think I came to love it when I was in the service. I mean, I guess before I joined, I liked those sports that were just gritty in nature. People might not think of soccer as gritty, but lacrosse, people think of it as gritty, just getting kind of beat up out there, bruised, blood, but you're like still grinding. And I think that's why I gravitated towards rugby in college. So I kind of developed that mindset that no matter how hard you get beat up, you just got to keep pushing forward, especially in a team environment, right? Like you're doing it for your teammates, you're doing it to win the game. And so that was always driving me, that competitive nature. And so when I joined the military, whether it be the 82nd Airborne or 75th Ranger Regiment, when I was going through these schools and selection processes like airborne school or ranger school, there was just a purpose behind it, that I wasn't doing it for myself. I was doing it so when I showed up to my unit, they knew that I had the mental fortitude to push through to the final objective. And so I think that's really something that formed me through my military years to now where I'm a civilian, a veteran. I try to look for those opportunities since it's not a part of my job, right? I work at a desk job, but I try to sign up for races where I can get in that headspace again, where things suck. You're not having a whole lot of fun, I guess, extrinsically, but you just got to push through it. And the reward at the end is absolutely worth it.
Yeah, and I love what sports brings to life, either before college or before the military, depending on if, veterans are listening or civilians are listening. And that idea of playing a bunch of different sports. I played 1 year of lacrosse in eighth grade. We moved from San Diego to Columbus, and partly for social reasons, and then partly for just getting in shape for football and basketball, which were my two main sports. My dad was like, "You got to play a spring sport." And he was a track champion here in Central Ohio, and then nationally at UCLA. Earlier in his life. And so he's like, "You don't have to run track. Like, I know that I ran track and I loved it, but like, you don't have to do that." So I was like, "Well, let me try this lacrosse thing." Like moving from San Diego to the Midwest, now lacrosse is very big out West, but it wasn't at the time. I'm like, "What is this lacrosse thing?" And so I played it and I wasn't very good. I ultimately didn't enjoy lacrosse, but what happened that spring was a growth in speed. They put me at midi, and then a growth in toughness, right? Because I had to play both sides of the field and had to get up and down quickly. I didn't have the ball and stick handling skills that everybody else had. And my mindset going in was just to stay in shape and get in shape, for the next summer and fall to go play football in high school. And I look back and I kind of laugh thinking about my lacrosse experience, because while it wasn't great in the sense that I fell in love with the sport, it was great in the sense that it really equipped me for the next several years of athletic endeavors through high school football and basketball, and then getting into the military, going through selection and ultimately not making it, and then working in the job that I ended up working in. And it's like the that transition into the military, and we bring sports acumen or sports interest or just all of those things that come with sports physically, mentally, emotionally, relationally. They're so helpful, and especially when you play a range of different sports rather than just focusing on one.
For sure. And you brought your dad into it. And I think parents play such a big role in this. And congratulations. I think you're expecting baby number 2, right?
We are indeed. Thank you.
Yeah. So we've got one. We've got a daughter, Emerson Grace. She's 10 months old. It'll be interesting to see what sports she gravitates to. And I want to thank my parents. They never pushed a certain sport on me. It was more so just whatever you do, give it 110% and then see what happens from there. My dad always, before I went out on the field, would tell me that. And I really took it to heart. So I want to do the same for my daughter, see what sports she gravitates to, and then just like go all in with her. Could be softball, could be lacrosse, could be whatever. Maybe it's not a sport, it's something else, but to just support your kids in their passions is something that I can't wait for.
Yeah, and to push them, right? Like I have such empathy for my dad now. We've got a 5-year-old, so she's in pre-K. She's on spring break this week, and so I signed her up for she's been going through swim lessons, so I signed her up for the spring break startup, whatever they do. She does it every morning this week, and we go as a family, and we're sitting there and we're watching her push through physically. She's pretty gifted physically, so she's like more than anything pushing through mentally for some of the things that she's struggling with in the water, which is funny because, when I went through selection in the Air Force, water confidence was not a problem for me because I played in San Diego. Like I swam, I played water polo, I surfed, I body surfed, I snorkeled, scuba dived, like did all these things. So like water confidence was just not a problem for me, which is as I guess a funny thing to say because a lot of people have issues with it. But so I have empathy sitting on this side, like watching my daughter struggle with things. I'm like, why are you struggling with that? Like but it wasn't something that she's been exposed to up to this point. And Dre, my wife, and I talk about it all the time. We have certain sports that we have to understand our own biases as parents. That there's a certain culture associated with certain sports that we don't love personally for ourselves, but we want to maintain the openness for our daughters to choose things. But the only way you can choose things is if you try things, right? And so we want to expose her. She's playing t-ball, she's played soccer, she's doing gymnastics twice a week right now, she's in swim lessons. And so we don't want to overload her either, right? We want her to have a life, a family life, and a social life, but we also want her to try these new things. So I have such great empathy. And I'm sure I'll continue to get more empathy as the kids get older and those choices become more difficult. But that wide range of experiences that we're able to provide our kids really set them up for life in ways that we can't even see right now because they're so young.
100%. Well, I'll be coming back to you when my daughter's a little bit older, and you'll have to give me some advice on some lessons that you learned. Because is number 2 for you? Is it a boy or a girl? Do you know?
She's another girl. Yeah,
another girl. All right. I was going to say each kid's different, each gender's different, and you got to like treat them with different strategies. But that'll be fun.
It's emerge, right? And it's like, so yeah, she's a little girl, but she loves everything. She loves princesses, but she loves superheroes. She's just wearing a princess dress, playing with her Iron Man Lego car, and going to t-ball, going to swim lessons, riding her bike, driving the Jeep around. It's like all that fun stuff. I will say, you're welcome to. We'll stay in touch and be friends. Obviously, you're welcome to come back to me. I don't give advice; I just give perspectives, and I just share my own experiences. So, but that's one of the great things about being a dad and being a parent is being able to relate to other people and other dudes in a way that that just we all kind of grow as we do it.